Okay, yeah. So again, thanks everyone. So again, my name is Aroh. I'm going to start this series in this esteemed community event of Pune, and then I will work for three series more. This session is primarily into the basics, and we show the basic of the ChatGPT, the Azure OpenAI on the high level, right? I have people who want to understand more about OpenAI and Azure OpenAI, how to do certify and all. So I give those questions towards the end. I put some links as well towards the end, and then you can be upgraded or learn about more about OpenAI and those things. Um, Myself, I'm a regional architect in a medical information company. I work in Microsoft earlier for more than 1 year, and I would have a lot of insight about Microsoft, a lot of things for Chintan. But I moved to another company where I'm getting it's a mostly consumer side, more manufacturing company. I got a lot of insights from other those things. So I will mostly engage with many many countries. It's not Singapore. Or I'll be managing around 10 countries. So I'll be managing the entire APAC, right? So, but besides me, I'm a MVP. I'm again alumni, MVP alumni. I will be MVP soon. I want to be, and I'm certified trainer. And this is about me. I want to embrace all the new events. I spoke on Microsoft events. I do a lot of hackathons. My everything is to work for the community. So I'm very excited about community events, whether it's in Asia or also global. I've done many global events as well. More than 10,000 people have done for events. So my thing is to get knowledge and also help some community events, right? Whether it's COVID, some accidents happened. So I want to be people just not learning Microsoft, but also contribute for the society. That is my key thing too, which I also try to do in my pastime. Okay, now let's think about what we have agenda. We talk about basically about the OpenAI, about ChatGPT in general. Okay, and then we see what is the OpenAI, how it works. Then we talk about the prompt engineering, but it's a new thing for everyone, even for me when I started as a Microsoft employee. I found that okay, this is something new, and I never learned on that. So I'm now learning. I spoke around 7 events in Asia and global. So something very important for us to understand. Then we talk about ChatGPT and DALL-E. Then we also talk about the Azure OpenAI. So OpenAI is a company, the startup company, and Microsoft has invested $10 billion in that. So again, it's huge money. So they have invested in all, and they're using in all the Microsoft products, whether it's a Windows 11, whether your Dynamics, whether it's Power Platform, they involve co-pilots in all the places. So again, co-pilot is another story, but we talk about OpenAI in this scenario here. And then we have some demos. One thing which have many people ask this question globally as well as in Asia, that main difference between OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. I give this one slide deck to you, and again, everything I've shared, I give to the community, to Nandeep teams, and also I shared in my LinkedIn so that you can see both places at Pune community as well, or in my LinkedIn, you can actually see how it works, and then you can keep. I'm mostly focused on Azure OpenAI because I feel it's more secure and I'll have more security there in DevServe, and then I can have peace of mind. All my data is inside. That is something which I go for that. And as I mentioned, Nandeep mentioned, we are doing first series today. Okay, and me and Nandeep will craft some other sessions in coming months, right? So be think today we'll talk about today's session is about this, about exploring OpenAI, about foundation security, credibility. We'll talk about that. The next sessions we talk about gain, how to access the models, what is responsible AI, how to deployments, how to do the things when using um, ChatGPT, we using also with Postman. We see how it works with Postman. And the third session we do about refining the models. How do you security? Security is always the clouds. We have how we can have your Azure OpenAI services to be more secured. Okay. We also talk about the content filtering. have some applications. So at least you have an idea. So you understand that today's session is basics. Next session is about the slightly hands-on, and third is also hands-on. We do things on the go, right? So you have a clear picture that the how the Azure OpenAI can work as a basics. Second and third part talk about the all hands-ons. Again, we have demos. At least you have an idea how we do on the ChatGPT and how we can integrate OpenAI with Azure. Okay, now before I move, say that everyone knows what ChatGPT. I won't speak on that. But one thing which I've noticed that my daughter told me once that Aroh, Papa, do you know what ChatGPT? I said, I told her that, okay, I'm already working on ChatGPT for my customer. So, I mean, everyone knows, the small kids also know what ChatGPT is. So it's not a big thing. It's, everything is new for people. But as a Microsoft employee and also as now as a consumer, we have to know what is ChatGPT is, right? How we can use it, how we can leverage it, how we can secure it, how we can make it easier for our end users. That is the use of the ChatGPT, and we see some demos as well. But one thing which I want to share with you that within few years, you have seen this slide deck, but I give you again as a overview that it takes only 2 months for ChatGPT to reach 100 million users. Okay, I haven't seen this slide, but just want to give a context that for mobile phones, it took 16 years. For internet, it took 7 years to reach 100 million. For Facebook, it took 4.5 years. You see the scale that the ChatGPT took only 2 months. That is a use and ease of the ChatGPT, right? So something which I want to give a context that how easy and how people have actually embarked on the ChatGPT. Okay. Okay. Now, why Azure and why OpenAI? I give you very glib. I have a slide deck for you. Don't worry. But one thing which I've noticed from many customers that how scale the Azure OpenAI is. So one thing which we have noticed from many years, that scalability is very crucial for any organizations. Whether it's your VMs on Azure, or your third-party applications, or you're connecting to GCP, or you want to connect to AWS. Scalability and reliability is something very, very crucial, right? Second thing is about the additional AI services. So we will working on the additional AI services in part 2 and part 3. But just want to give you context that we have in Azure, we have many services. OpenAI is only one of the services. We have cognitive services, we have cloud services with that, we have translator services, many services we have for Azure. And third is we provide, I mean, I'm using as a Microsoft again, Microsoft provides security controls, right? So it's very difficult for the hackers to attack the things. So we have highly secure controls in Azure. Okay, so one thing I just want to give a context here. These sessions are not a beginner course, right? Because I'm assuming that you know some basic of Azure. There are lot of content which is there in Udemy and also on many websites, also on YouTube. Search for that. But the other things that if you don't know anything about ChatGPT, that these sections will help you. Okay, so please take note that I'm not covering the all Azure basics here. It's very difficult to control these things because I'm talking about all about OpenAI, right? And OpenAI is certainly different from other services. Okay, the one thing which I promised to you that your mind will be blown completely when I've seen these things services, right? And I've integrate with Power Platform with other services. You see that how, oh God, this is something I never thought of. So prerequisites is important to, it's not a beginner course and your mind will be blown in a couple of sessions. Now, what is ChatGPT as AI chatbot? We know that one, but many people know that what is LLM. Now, LLM is called as a large data model, and it's not just done by OpenAI, it's done by many organizations, even Google also has. But I want to tell you that this is the open concept, right? It's not by propriety by a company. Right? Think about data science. Data science is not a proprietary of any company. So these are again not a propriety, it's an open concept we think of. So large data model, we think about, we talk about that, some examples. And we also talk about these are trained by million of web pages. Okay, so ChatGPT is again three things. It's an open, it's an LLM, it's a chatbot, and can have a million. Actually, it's billions. Not I have to fix it. It's a billion of pages is done. Okay, and it's trained by the human feedback. So ChatGPT, we think that is new. It's not new. It's there for almost 7 years. The only thing is become very famous because of the Microsoft investment and Copilots, right? That is a thing. But is there ChatGPT was there for many years. The only thing is become very open because of the Microsoft investment of $10 billion. Okay, so when we want to understand that people told me that Aroh is a open AI, but is it smart enough? The one thing which I have to tell you very important that this is the conversation chatbot. What I mean is this: if I ask some questions to ChatGPT that about tell me about Singapore, right? So they give me some details of Singapore, right? And then I ask you that a building, Supreme Court in Singapore, tell me about that one. So I put, so it's giving me some details on that, but it doesn't actually scan the things. It has a large model. I'm talking about large model. It can solve up so much content, but give a context. So it is trained by humans, but have a context, a bigger context. So if I ask about Singapore, then about Singapore Supreme Court, it give a history that, okay, Aru is looking for Singapore and also asking for the Supreme Court in Singapore. So he's asking everything about Singapore. So that's why it remember the context. Very important, it remember the context. Again, that is something which we have to understand. So again, if you think about ChatGPT, if you ask about the population of India, population Germany, these are actually called the prompts. Okay, these are officially, technically, these are prompts. But the completion, this is the is an API service. So prompts is a human, and this one is a by API. Okay, so I will ask something. ChatGPT will give me an answer. One thing we have to take note: ChatGPT is data is only for 2021, right? Anything about that it doesn't know, right? So we work on that now. Why? What I mean of large data model? Again, I go in depth a bit that when you have a lot of data, obviously you can't scan everything. So what it does, it using an algorithm and is have a lot of parameters. It scan a lot of content, a lot of data, and then it will do predict a text. Again, predict a text. Okay, it doesn't know, it predict a text because it doesn't know. So it has a all lot of trained data. So ChatGPT, one of my customers asked me that Aroh is, can we train ChatGPT? The answer is you know, you can't train ChatGPT because it's already pre-baked. Pre-baked. All the thing is pre-baked. You can't train it. Okay. Many people ask me. So one thing what you take note is that when you work on ChatGPT, you can't train it because it's already trained. Okay, you can fine tune, you can have some parameters, you can have Excel will do it, no issue, but you can't train it in general. Okay, because it has a lot of parameters. So you can do some kind of fine tuning a bit, no, but not all. Okay. One thing which I told you, ChatGPT doesn't understand what you write, right? Because it has lot of data. I mean, there are billions of parameters. What you type, example, tell me about Singapore. It will tell me because it's get data from the stats. It doesn't know what I mean by how to write. So it doesn't understand. So that way you understand is get the data from your stats, right? Using the prediction. I mentioned in my last slide is using prediction. It predict the data, right? So something which you take note on this. And what we understand is it using something called as a web text for training data. So what is web text? Web text is all the scan of the data, your books to your scan data. So it does that kind of parameters. right? Scan data. It has around 8 million scrap web pages it has, and is also focused on the document quality. I'm talking about anything about ChatGPT, nothing else I'm talking about. Now, what I mentioned to you this about Reddit. You know what is not Reddit? Reddit is another website, and you must have a three karma. Now, or what is karma I'm talking about. So what happens is that when you're working on the large data models and maybe for the last things, we have to understand that the quality of the product of the document should be good, right? So karma means you know what's karma, right? In India, we know what is karma, good, bad karma, whatever it is. But in terms of the productivity or if you do community events on all these kind of community events, we do actually contribute. Yeah, I'm doing contribution to your guys, right? So I have a one karma that okay, I have give something to contribute to society, to the Pune community. So you think about these community events done in many ways. So if I my rating done by again by Reddit, it will be 1 or 2 or 3 star, 5 star, right? So if I have more than 3 karma, then my data will be scanned. Otherwise, anything which is less than 3, it won't be scanned. That is quality. So your karma is a reflection of your contribution to your quality of the content you have done, right? So if you have a very low grade content you provided, if a less than karma, it won't scan the data. So again, is something which I want to share. This is because people don't know and give you this context on that. Okay. Training data I mentioned about it's a cutoff. You can't scan data over that. So example is about Germany, right? So it giving me data. Okay, my knowledge is only for 21 September. Anything beyond, it doesn't know. One thing to take understand that if you're using Bing chat, the ChatGPT, you don't have this kind of issues. Okay, so if you use Bing chat, which is actually powered by OpenAI, I mean, Microsoft removed that particular limitation. You can scan the data from your past 500 years, whatever it is. You can scan the data. It's very open in that context. Okay. The second thing is about the human feedback. ChatGPT actually used RLFH, which means reinforced learning for human feedback. So if you see that the questions they ask, right, is quite a very human friendly. Why? Because even humans trained the ChatGPT. It's not just a machine. It's also human feedback, which is part of that. RLHF, which is ChatGPT is trained by the humans as well. Okay. So it's work. That's why if you see your questions by ChatGPT are human-like because humans also participated in that particular model, in this model. Okay, something which is very understand. And this is nobody knows this thing, but give you this information about that thing. Okay, now before we go to a demo, I just give you some AI terminologies so that you understand what is thing. Now, what is ChatGPT? It's called as generative pre-trainer transformer. That is even is a mouthful, even for me. Now, what I mean by this actually is a term, right? A technical term, but for the humans, how we mean. So if you understand the human is using generative AI, okay, generative AI. So what is generative AI? Generative AI is not about OpenAI. Is open to all. It's an open concept again. I mentioned it's not in the priority. What I mean here is that I can create simply this. Um, OpenAI actually has a capability to create a new content, whether it's your technical content, your code, or your poems you write. Everything is using generative AI, right? So what is help us, right, to again we use ChatGPT, but generative AI is a slightly more open content, which means anyone who has want to write something, coding, or whether it's an issue, he can write it, and then the ChatGPT will give that content. So generative AI is again not an open AI concept. It's a open concept. And third thing, which I want to tell you is about hostiliation. What I mean by that is that the content is not always correct, right? So I give one real example here that it gave a false data. Example of ChatGPT. This is the screenshot. Is that I want to understand about false data. I want to summarize this content about New York Times and give a of actually real this data which doesn't exist in the world. So we have to be very take note, understand that when you do an AI things, verify with your organization, check whether the data is correct or not. And when talking about financial things, right, is you have to super careful. So AI can help you in one context, but when you have a hallucination, which is a false data, you have to be very careful. I have seen many customers that okay that my data is very incorrect, and this is the thing because AI we are still working on the AI to be great. We have not done great work so far in terms of the hard definition. We are working obviously, but it's not always correct content. Okay, this is the link which I'm sharing with you later on. Now, before I go to demo, something is about ChatGPT have a lot of larger models, and it's created by OpenAI, which is South African American company, and it has a lot of toolkits inside. Okay, now if we give a history, it was started 8 years back. ChatGPT, I mean, if we talk about the OpenAI, it was created by Sam, and investor you will know about this guy. Elon Musk, which is Tesla and also Twitter CEO, they invested here with the non-profit, right? So I give you the history. Then it was released into second version of the books corpus, which means they want to search for those books. All 2019, Microsoft invested 10 billion, and they could use the web text, all the web text, and then they include on the DALL-E and other things. And these are things. Now 2030, we are working on the co-pilots and also it's always improving. In this particular course, we are working on 2022, right? We are working on ChatGPT. We also work on the DALL-E. We are not focusing on the GPT-4. The reason being the models are quite similar. Nothing much is in thing like iPhone 2007, right? After that, nothing great something has come, right? So from Apple so far. So I'm not a fan of Apple. It's again just like everyone like iPhones, but again, there's no great features that has come up after the new the iPhone has come from Steve Jobs, right? So again, we work on something which is generic, and we can the basic concept will be similar for us. So we on the three demos we work with three parts. We work on the 2022 things. Okay. Now before I was again demo I worked with, there are three plans in ChatGPT. You maybe I work for the free things. I have a for all my demos, I use free version. I don't have to go for the things because I have subscription to Azure OpenAI. So I have subscription for OpenAI, and then I mostly do all my testings on the OpenAI, on the Azure OpenAI. So recently, I think only last month, don't quote me because don't know about the OpenAI in general, but I think last month they opened something called enterprise data. What is the enterprise data? That people can search their own content, right? So earlier you have seen that all the content is free, right? Everything I can search for everything. Even for the plus, which is $20, you can buy, I think. But the main issue with this that if you want to search for my own corpus of my data, which is my SharePoint, which is my NAS, obviously I can't do it. So here, what OpenAI have done, they have included enterprise data. All your data will be scanned. It doesn't open to your public data. So something that is very important. Okay. Now I give a demo of a ChatGPT. I know it's okay, Aroh, why you're sharing the ChatGPT thing, but I have a brief on that. Okay, how it works. First. Okay. So again, I go to ChatGPT. I go here first. I search Google. People have go start. So search ChatGPT. Search for that. Then you get this link, which is this link. Okay, so I just close this. So people search. So I have an Google account, so I just for that. Now, main thing, right? I search for that. I mean, I want to go and search for. about Singapore. Just want to share. Now, again, spelling mistakes are obviously not a big thing here. Okay, and then they will give you all the things, right? Now, again, this is a very basic context, right? I didn't give you much information here, and maybe I want to ask about the education systems, right? So I'm giving a very generic prompt. Okay, tell me more about Pune, India. Okay, it is Google search, nothing much. But here I can get more context. I can share it and I can export to some things. Now, what I want to share with you is that what we can do, that I can go click on settings again, click on settings, and I can change the themes. I can change from dark to light. Okay, and I go to dark, whatever it is, right? I can clear the chats. And also one thing we can also do is we can data controls. I can have a capability to share my links with additional people. I can export the data. I can delete my account. Okay, so this is something which is normal ChatGPT features are you have seen, but we work on that more later on that. So at least you can understand how it works. Okay, now basic chat we have done. We have done about the settings. One thing before we go for the slide deck is about the upgrade. So I'm using a free plan, which is called as my current plan, which is all my billing thing I'm not paying for that, but I have something more I have. I pay go for upgrade. What I have upgrade I can go for. I can have a faster response. I don't care, but something I can work for plugins. I have capabilities to have plugins. Just think what is a plugin. Think about I have a if people know about SharePoint. SharePoint is free, right? I mean, you have subscription, but I don't have a syntax, right? Syntax is not part of SharePoint. I have to add on. So you can add on your syntax because a part of that. Think about Power Platform, right? RPA is not, you have to add on with that. So again, plugins, we can add a plugin as an additional feature. So when you work for additional features, then you will pay this amount. Okay, and some advanced analytics you can go for. This is I'm talking about 3 plans, the free plan and plus. The third feature is about enterprise, which I shared with you. So what Microsoft with OpenAI has done, that they want to have more security. That's why if you people, the customers who are OpenAI customers, if they want to have enterprise data not open to public, then they can have some kind of deployment inside rather than going all the way. Somebody has not unmute the mic. Yeah, thank you. Right? So you can have more productivity using your own data, right? Same thing we have Microsoft, we have Azure OpenAI, and you can have your enterprise data. I will show you in my second demo, in second thing, but it's possible to have your own enterprise data, which is not um, open to the public. Okay, so Microsoft has done a couple of months back, and OpenAI have done only last month back. I mean, I don't quote me, but I think it did very recently, this month or last month. So something very understand. Take note. They have started working on the enterprise data, which is not available previously. Okay, you got the idea here. Now this is my first demo. Then I work for tokens, right? Let's see what is tokens. Now, one important things to take understand is about the token. What is token? Now, token is something is how ChatGPT works. Now, if you people work in Azure, I can create a VM and I can pick and choose. I want to have my hard disk to be HDD. But I think performance is not good. Maybe after 2-3 months, found that people are complaining my VM is slow. I can choose to something called as a SSD, solid state, right? So my performance is good. People are happy with that. Same kind of concept happened to tokens, right? Tokens, if you use a token in a lesser tokens, then your performance will be okay. But if you want to use higher tokens, then you have to have you pay extra for that. Okay. So what we have to understand is that these are based on the number of numbers, right? How things. So if you have uh, 5 letters, I'm sure that tell me about Singapore, tell me about Pune. This is only 5 words I use, but I use an essay for maybe for 1,000 letters. Then I have to pay extra because I'm using more tokens, right? That is the use of tokens. This is the concept by OpenAI. Okay. And how we can use it? This is a number of text you can use it. Second thing is you can have multiple tokens as well. Example, single word. Singapore is one word. I have a Singapore is a great country. I can put that thing. So I can increase the sentence as well. And the tokens limit is always 4096 token limit. So example, I have a 300 paragraphs, then the second token will go that limit. So I have always a token is about that limit. So prompt and response is always about 4096 token. This is the limit. Now, I will tell you in a summary how it works so that you can actually visualize what I mean. Okay, because only with demos you will be able to understand. Okay, and it's a billing limit. Same thing if you use in Azure, right? If you use SSD or something, the pricing of the Azure will be slightly more. Same thing if you use the syntax for Azure, sorry, for SharePoint or do something else, right? Something third party, you have to pay extra for that. So similar concept, but in a different tone. Let's work on the tokenizer, how it works, because this is the basics of the OpenAI, right? I'll go to my one of the URL, which is enterprise. We just click this one, and this is the tokenizer, right? So if I search in Google first, OpenAI, like tokenizer, you will get the same link. Okay, so I just want to give it. I have this links. Now, just want to share you about this thing. So I just tell me more about Azure AI services. Okay, now you see here, I have using 7 tokens, and these are the characters. Forget about this number just for the representations, right? Yeah. So I have using 7 tokens. If I put maybe I put lot of words, so my token limit is increased, right? I put some paragraph and all will increase. Now, if you click on show examples, you see I have using six tokens because I'm using a paragraph. Okay, so again, if we use more tokens, more billing will be done at Azure side and also an OpenAI side. Okay, so please understand that you are paying for that, right? For people who are testing it out, you can just go for the OpenAI search. It is open. It's open for you. It's around the limits is very thing. It's try for free first. OpenAI free is everything is trusted, working fine. But if you want to have GTP plus, then you need to pay for that. So please understand you're paying for extra if you want for tokens. Okay, so this is one example where you can see that how much tokens are used by each words and tokens, right? So we will work on that. So think we talk about ChatGPT basics, we talk about tokenizer, but it's very important concept in OpenAI and also in your Azure OpenAI. Okay, so now we talk about the tokens. I would token and then work on the demos, right? About the something which we can extend. So if you work on, again, I talked about example Power Platform, right? In Power Platform, you can extend with your third-party applications. And think about Azure, about SharePoint. There are a lot of things which are limitations. I won't say limitations is not out the box. We can have a third party. We can expand the capabilities of that third party. Think about a calendar control. I want to have third party which have 5 countries doing a color coding for different regions. So I can using SPX control, or I can use a third party applications. So this plugins actually expanded your AI capabilities using OpenAI capabilities, but it works only for the ChatGPT Plus subscription. Okay, so it's a great tool. The main issue is that it has work on the only with text. ChatGPT works only on text controls. Nothing much I can do, right? But it's doing great right now. So one thing which we can actually have an capabilities to have expansion, that we can have a plugin. I want to have up-to-date data about something. I want to draw images. I can do it. I can do some connect to my smartphone. ChatGPT can do? No, but plugins we can. Okay. I want to connect order groceries. Is possible with normal ChatGPT? Open with an auto box? No. With plugins we can. I want to book a flight with OpenAI? No. With plugins you can do. But again, take note here is that when you're using plugins, you have to pay $20 per month for that because you're using a subscription model for that. Okay. So we can extend the functionality. This is something I'm talking about from a couple of minutes, that we can extend the capabilities of OpenAI using additional capabilities, right? And it's only available to ChatGPT subscriber, but you can have a waiting list on that. Okay, now I talk about the ChatGPT, about the tokenizer. Now in our demo, we talk about how we can work on the plugins, the which we can extend it. We can have third-party applications. Think about you are adding a shape on third-party with plugins. Just assume that. So in my next demo, we talk about how to use the plugins. Okay. So this is my plugins. Again, go to OpenAI, go to ChatGPT plugins, and these are the plugins which we can use. Now, I mentioned in my slide deck that you can use click on the waiting list and enter your email address for waiting list, which country you are coming from, whatever it is. And you can try, I'm a developer, I want to build the plugin and all, so you can do these things. Okay. The second option is that you can see how these applications are built. So example that I can expand my OpenAI with Expedia, right? I can with financial code. I can use Kayak for or having my booking of my flights. I can go for restaurant booking using OpenTable. So these are the ways you can extend your OpenAI capabilities using plugins. Okay, and this is not a rocket science. It's very detailed documentation is there that you can search how it done. They have lot of amazing documentation they provided, and everything using um, Python, C# code, and all. You can just expand that. So also good thing they have API reference. So if you want to try using OpenAI, I can try install using OpenAI services, and using Visual Studio Code, you can work on the applications. Actually, one of my customer want to do not Azure OpenAI. You want to build an application, a ChatGPT kind of thing, where you want to show a website. So I give a demo to him using this particular AI references, installing the OpenAI authentication, and give a example to him because that time OpenAI was very new, but one of my customer in Microsoft want to see how it works. So it's very good to see how it works before you give to your customer. Okay, but please try first how it works. Okay, so this is my third demo. Okay, and then we work on the next using the plugins. Okay, addition I already shared about thing is about 30 plus, and it's only when the demand is very high. I have one thing, I was doing a demo for that customer. I don't have subscription that time, and after half a day, all my subscription gone for free. So I have to upgrade to a ChatGPT plus for 1 month because I can't show the demo to my customer because I have not go to that particular subscription, so I've increased the things. So it gave a 5-star response. Is very good for that, but I don't know if it's good for students and all. But even for the professional people like us, trying this thing is okay. But try to use Azure OpenAI. Okay. For enterprise thing, we have unlimited speed. There's no limitation on the enterprise and the speed. You have unlimited data analytics on when using enterprise, and the OpenAI never train the data for Azure for your enterprise data. Assume you have a lot of data, you have a ton of data, but you think that okay, maybe not. I doesn't want to this data, maybe financial data or human resource data, salary slips of the users, which are you are using in SAP, maybe with that, but you doesn't want to share it. Then in that context, the enterprise ChatGPT enterprise will really help you on that. Okay, so something like that. So that's why we work on that, and now we work on some so again, I talk about the three different editions: free, plus, and enterprise. And now we work on something very interesting, which is called as prompt engineering. Prompt engineering. How we can do prompt? What is the meaning of prompt engineering? So first thing that if you have seen, I tell you about, tell me, think about Pune, tell me about Singapore, but this is very basic part, right? I want to have slightly more detailed. I have some essay kind of questions from ChatGPT. So I have to craft my questions very well. What is meaning of that? So think about this thing. Tell me an article about Einstein, or think about Michael Jackson, whatever it is, right? Now, it's giving you very basic information, right? He gave me information about universe, whatever, but we don't know, right? Nothing about about the theory of relativity. He never tell about that thing. So having this prompt engineering is so important to craft your prompts so that you have a meaningful data which you can share with your colleagues or with your management. Okay, depends on which level you are working on. Okay, so one thing I have to understand that the completion is not always optimal. Think about, tell me about Pune, tell me about Singapore. It's not optimal because it doesn't give much information to my normal end users, right? My end user and my normal end user want to understand about Singapore food. He doesn't want to understand what is Singapore. He stay in Singapore, right? One my colleague stay in Pune. He want to understand about a food item with restaurant in Pune. He doesn't know about he stay in Pune. So optimal things we have to give to our end users. So completion has or not optimal because we are not giving exact information, right? What exactly information we have to give to my prompt. So that is something very crucial in the prompt engineering we're talking about. Okay, that is called as prompt engineering. Exact completion thing we are looking for. Okay, now prompt elements have four things I'm talking about. Something which we want to give slightly more detailed information to my end users, right? So including four elements, the first element is called as an instruction, which is mandatory, right? So tell me about Singapore, tell me about Pune is a basic thing, right? But give me a much context. But if you need more context, then second parameter comes to me. Okay, tell me about, give me a better result. Now think about this context. Okay, tell me, I'm a poor boy living in Manchester in 18th century, but I fell in love with a elite girl and want to express my love, but my English is pretty basic. Now this is called as context. So want to give more context that this is thing I'm looking for, and I have this is a thing I'm not, maybe English is not very good, and please tell me this thing. So this is the context I'm talking about, right? I give you this thing, tell me a Singapore is not a context. If I tell about, okay, tell me a food item which are popular when Modi came to Singapore 6 years back. That is the context I'm talking about. Okay, so context is very crucial in most of the things there. Second is input data. I can give an input data. I can give an example that give my email a more formal. But that is I'm giving input data. I give this information in make it more formal. This is called as prompt engineering. And the last thing which I always use is called as format the data, right? So I use in my many emails that I mean not Gmail. I'm talking about the not corporate emails, the Gmail content, right? I want to give some kind of content. Uh, um, Many I think about sessionize, right? Have a limit for the title, right? So I want to have a title only for maybe for 50 characters. So I can use ChatGPT for that. I mostly for that. So you can use these kind of things for output parameter that how my poem may be then uh, generate the data in this table format or JSON content. So these are called as prompt for my all my I use ChatGPT every daily basis, right? Because it's really I use for LinkedIn, I use for all the things, I use for Freshnize, all the things I use it. So having using I'm now I can call myself as a prompt engineer because I use it all these four elements in my things. And now in this session, you have become prompt engineering as well, right? So you know that how things works for you. So how good that you are understanding that prompt engineering is less than 1 hour, right? So you become prompt engineer now. Okay, one thing I want to give that please give a specific output, right? For me, it's important to give exactly what I'm looking for. Then I give me proper input, right? There are different ways I can do. There's something called as a short prompting, and there are different prompts. The short prompting means that I'm giving only one example. Tell me about Pune. Nothing, no example given. So it give me a very bad context, right? Another thing is a one shot. I give an example. Tell me about Singapore, but give me a spicy food which is valid for Indian tourist. So I give an example here, right? Third is using a multiple example. I can give an example of Pune about India, Delhi. So I will give more example. My prompt become more better. Okay, so this is the thing why I want to share with you that this is the way we can use prompt engineering in our examples, and then we can use it to your in your emails and your I use for my daughter's math questions as well. I ask because there's few things I also don't know, but this is very useful for maybe for LinkedIn. Most professionals very good for that. So now you have a basic understanding how to use the prompt engineering. I will give you some examples now. This is my last demo. Then we have some question and answer. But before that, let's go for that prompt engineering examples. You see how I craft it and how I make it more insightful for myself on even for my community events about by that. So let's work on the example of prompt engineering. Okay, and before that, we work on the DALL-E. I think DALL-E is something which we have talk about the demos, but DALL-E is a complement, right? Now, ChatGPT is one way to do it because I can have a some kind of content, but what about the images, right? So if I want to have an image about going to Paris, right? And watching uh, Apple Java, okay? Write a text image of that, right? So DALL-E is which is part of OpenAI can do that. The only challenge is that is only open for ChatGPT plus subscription. Is you can't use it. So that's why I don't use it. I don't have subscription for ChatGPT. But for me, I have access to Azure OpenAI. In one of the example, I show you how easily you can make images by just writing text and image will be generated for us. So amazingly good for us now. Okay, so I'm something which I use it again. And you can use it in your Bing. Bing, you can use ChatGPT. You can use the image, an image will be created for you. So you don't need ChatGPT plus. You can use Bing Chat, and then you can generate. I have one example, but I have some example which you can see in my slide deck soon. Okay. Example of I mentioned, right? An astronaut riding on and on the horse in a photorealistic style. This is the image generated by DALL-E. Okay, a teddy bear working on the AI, researching an open in the moon in 1980. This is the example, right? A soup bowl looks like a monster knitted in a wool of wool. You see, so this is something which we can immediately create it using Bing Chat. Okay, Bing Chat is open. You can use it. Again, very powerful way to use it. So I have what I've shared with you that with ChatGPT, with OpenAI and with Bing Chat, you can try everything. I earlier the Bing Chat was not open for all. Now Bing Chat is open for all people, public, right? So you can use ChatGPT using Bing Chat, see how the things works, and then no need to go for a subscription, which I did bought for my customer. If you want to test the ChatGPT thing, try on the Bing Chat. Everything you can do the text generation. You can also do the also do can also you can generate using the images with DALL-E as well. Okay. Okay. Now, before I go to the last demo, which I think this is the slide deck which I shared to one of my customers in Microsoft, that that difference between OpenAI and Azure OpenAI, main differences. Now, so one thing I will take note, I keep updating this slide deck because earlier OpenAI have a lesser compliance and all. Last month there was zero compliance. Now they have added a lot of compliance. But one thing I always say is that when it comes to security, nobody can beat Microsoft. Okay, because Microsoft has enterprise security, you have RBAC, you have customer managed keys, you can do everything, right? In terms of the reliability, also OpenAI. Again, I talk about free version. I'm not talking about the enterprise edition, or also about the plus edition. I'm talking about no SLA for the free edition. However, Azure, when you have even for the free, when you use a $200 one, you have some kind of have some SLA with that. Is there for that? So at least you have some kind of a SLA when you use Azure. If you're paid, you are always sure you have SLA. But even you are a student, you can have some kind of developer thing you will always get, but it's very quite minimal. But we have security in reliability in that. One thing where you always think about the safety. Safety is crucial in terms of enterprise examples, but in Azure OpenAI and OpenAI, we have enterprise grade services, we have latency, we have harmful addition, everything inside them. Okay, and the last piece I want to talk about is uh, OpenAI have mostly all their examples are written into Python. However, in Microsoft, we have C#, we have Node.js, many other examples at them. So if you want to work for the third-party applications, then you always go for Azure OpenAI, because not everyone are well-versed with Python, but people who have experience with Node.js or with C# or any other, maybe even with Java, they can develop applications using Azure OpenAI. So these are the main differences between OpenAI and Azure OpenAI. Okay, that is a key differences I want to share with you. And then before I close my demo, last demo, I talk about the prompt engineering examples so that you have clarity on that. Okay, my last demo on the prompt engineering. Okay, so I go back to ChatGPT. I click on think. Okay, and I will ask him. Okay, now this is I mentioned about the four things, right? I'm not about the introduction. I talk about the what is a cloud architect. Okay, I just what is the cloud? Okay, yeah, now it give me with a lot of information, right? It talking about Lot of things about oh God, like it is too much information here. Yeah, they talk about the services, talk about different examples, talk about GCP, talk about a lot of examples. But I'm into Microsoft, right? I want to get something more into cloud for Microsoft, right? So I want to give a context to him. I told you that context is super important for giving a better prompts. So you become prompt engineering by giving a context and examples, right? So I give an example that please use these words, right? That includes Power Platform, Azure, and Microsoft 365 Architects. I click on that. Now it will give me a more information that is more aligned what I'm looking for, right? So this is something which is important for having. Now I want to have this thing. It's too much information in less than 300 words. Words are calcium. You see in this thing, but then so I give you. I'm using all the four things. What four things I'm talking about? I'm talking about the uh, instruction. I added a context. I also put the parameter, how many words I can use it. You see it? So this is a way you can try. And one thing I want to highly important to tell you that we can. Just want to wait for to yeah, use Bing. I mean, because it has already have a ChatGPT inside. I can click here. So if you want to try out, try with the free things, okay? And it has things. Tell me more about Singapore. Okay, tell me more about Pune, India. In 400 words. Okay, so it gave me research. It gave me all the things. I can scan images as well. Okay, I can click here. See, give me all the context. Okay, in 400 words, I get more details on that. I don't know whether whether it's 400 words, but yes, it's kind of thing. So also what you can do here and go for click on insight. You can do research on that and then search for this. Right? Maybe I want to search for uh, Azure OpenAI. And I want to summarize its content. Okay. Summarize. Now, this is the page, right? This is too much for me. I want to give to my manager that I don't know. I summarize page information. Okay, yes. No, it asks for me because it's I'm generating. So it generates the content, right? So I can summarize. This is already part of that. You don't have to do anything else. So what is doing, right? This page is talking about OpenAI and all. So within few words, rather than now see oh God, it's very long page. Now see within few words, I can give to my manager or to my colleague, share how it works, and then it's open to all, right? So this is the way you can use ChatGPT in your Bing chat. All things you can do. I have not tried with the image, but it's possible to try image. And then it's also possible to do most of the things there. So rather than going to ChatGPT, OpenAI, you can try everything using Bing chat at this point of time. Okay. Okay, I have a lot of things to share, but before that, I want to share something very important. Click on this. I think if people want to learn about ChatGPT and go for this particular. Where is our link here? Wow. See. Okay, so these are a few links which I want to share with you that you can
Managing
use it.
staff instructor at LinkedIn Learning. In this course, I'll be
Okay. And then people who want to learn developers, you can try on that as well. This is my Teams chat. Teams chat is here. Okay. And people who somebody was asking about how to go ahead about the learning AI. So a lot of things. I think what you can do here is that people who are open, just new for AI, try to learn for this particular course. So exam is different thing, but at least you get the basic of what AI works in general for in Azure, right? So there are few exam questions you can go for, right? Yeah, this one for AI. Um, AI 900. Okay. And if you want to have a slightly more complex or more advanced kind of courses, I can go for the AI 102. We talk about everything about all the vision services, OpenAI services, everything. So it give you context. It's not about exam, it's about learning. You can go for that. So at least you have an idea on that. So where is my chat here? Go over here. AI 102. Yeah, and because I'm MCT, right? So I want to give if people are preparing for these exams, go for that. It's pretty good for that, right?